Hey everyone, today I want to do a quick fake calligraphy demo and also talk about some other basic handwriting tips. So I will say that sometimes it is a little stressful because I like when my planner is color coordinated and organized and everything looks nice. But then sometimes, I don't know if you like to do this or you're like me, you try to make something too fancy or you get too carried away because of something you saw on Pinterest or Instagram and you're like, I can definitely do that, but then like, no, you can't do that. And then you're like, my whole month looks messed up. So I want to tell you how the fake calligraphy has been going for me, some little tips that have, I think, greatly improved what I had been doing from the beginning till now, and then tell you a couple of just general handwriting tips that have also helped out in my planner. Now to show you how I did the fake calligraphy, I want to show you how I used to do it and how I do it now. So the two steps are that you're going to write a word in cursive, the neatest way that you know how, sort of, right? And then anytime your pen goes down, you want to color it in. So that's it. That's how you do the fake calligraphy. You write in cursive and then your pen's going up. Then as it comes down, you color it in. Then it's going up and as it goes down, you're coloring it in. So that's basically how you're doing it. Now, you'll notice though, that I said this is how I used to do it and things have gotten a little bit better, which is good, right? A little smudge there. Now, one thing you'll notice is that this E, for example, is a little bit curved up and I didn't give it enough space. So that in and of itself, now this kind of looks like an I instead of an E. So as time goes on, you get better at certain letters. And one thing that's helped me is that instead of writing it out in cursive, just one whole word, is I go letter by letter and that helps me elongate the spacing that I need. Now look, I'm not a pro, but just practicing this and learning this the way that I did has helped. So for example, now I'll do the H and then I'll come up and then look, see how that E is a little bit more, it's longer as opposed to up and down like this, right? And then we go L, L, O. All right, so that's not the fanciest way. Let's try it one more time. Now that I've said it, I'm gonna do it all at once, right? So I've got the H, E, L, L, O. And you can tell now already, right, that the spacing here is a little bit better than here. Another thing that you'll notice that has improved for me personally in time is that look at the height difference here, right? Like it started here for the H and it ended at the top here, but look, there's all that extra space here for the L's and even here, and it doesn't quite match up. It's not awful, but you notice here, right, like that this is a lot closer. Everything is just spaced a little bit better. Now, another thing I learned too is that you can kind of correct. So like if I wanted to do this, I could kind of bring the downstroke on the back side of the H as well. Another tip for you here with fake calligraphy is that with pink, you can kind of see where it's darker or lighter. So if you're just starting out, I recommend darker colors like black and dark blue and purple, because then if you're like trying to sort of do a little bit of correction, you're gonna see, oh, I was able to do that without you being able to see like kind of where I colored in the lines. But for the most part, this is how I do fake calligraphy and it's worked out really well for me. So it's just a little tip that I've learned, a little skill that I've kind of picked up over the years. Like I said, not an expert, not perfect, not a calligrapher, but just this little thing has made my planner look a lot nicer. So here are a few general handwriting tips for you as well, in addition to the fake calligraphy. The first is to use a wide variety of different types of writing utensils. Now, I happen to love Crayola. I get these when they're on the back to school sales for $1, which is really nice. You get a whole pack of markers for $1 and I feel like they last a while. But even though they write really beautifully, sometimes I find that they don't write, they're not fine enough. And so I like maybe just like, you know, a Papermate Flair pen. I really love these and they go on sale from time to time. I think like around the holidays. Last year, my sister got me as a gift like the 24 pack and I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, I mean, those are fancy pens and I was like, I probably wouldn't have bought that for myself, and I'm like, hopefully I'll use them. I use them all the time. So I love them because there's so many different colors and just will match like pretty much whatever you're trying to do. And that's what's nice too, is that if you have a variety of things to use, you can more likely fit what you need to in certain spaces and get that style that you're looking for. Tip number 2, try it out in pencil first. This is a really good idea if you're not sure if something will fit or if there is something that you're hoping to try and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually do that the way that I want it to look. Sometimes we get I get a little carried away just seeing things on Instagram or Pinterest or wherever, and I'm like, I could do that. And then you start and it's just like getting worse and worse very quickly. So to avoid that, sometimes sketching something out in pencil helps a lot. Now that doesn't just apply to handwriting. In a recent video, I also had to make some boxes for my goals. I did them like a monthly goal overview, and I didn't want to just dive right in with pen or marker, so I sketched them out in pencil first, and actually that was really beneficial, and I'll tell you why. The pencil made sure like that I could see the whole sketch of the page first, which was really useful because I found that my boxes weren't even, or they weren't even enough. I didn't need it to be 100% perfect, and I wasn't measuring like with a ruler that everything was a certain like dimension, but I really did need the pencil because after I did draw it out, I was like, oh, that box is like definitely going to be too small and that one's too big. So sketching in pencil in general is going to help in your planner no matter what you're doing. Next up, try it on a scratch sheet of paper first or a Post-it. This is like my favorite thing to do just because sometimes I'm like, I can't commit. I need to see how confident I am in myself. Like, can I do this well on this Post-it or this scratch paper? And if I can't, like, we're definitely not going to try it. We're going to try something much more simple, but maybe I can, you know, maybe I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this style. I try it on a Post-it and I'm like, oh, actually it wasn't as hard as I thought. But then I know before, I don't want to say the word ruin because you're not ruining your planner, but for me, I'm like, oh, like I just don't like when I start something and then I'm like, I've messed this up and I don't know how I'm going to fix this. So trying something on a Post-it is definitely the way to go if you're not sure if you can do something. Number 4, use planner stickers or washi tape to cover up any mistakes, or maybe we don't even call them mistakes, just like artistic challenges that you have with your planner. So in my washi tape video, I think I mentioned that if you have an area where you're like, ooh, I tried that, didn't work well, to use washi tape to cover it up. But I'm also a huge fan of stickers, so much so that sometimes if I'm about to try something, I have done it well on my Post-it and I'm like, okay, you can do this, you're gonna go for it, but I'm still just like lacking confidence. I will find a sticker that I know fits in the area that I'm about to hopefully not, but maybe mess up. And that way I feel a little bit more confident because I'm like, you know what, you're just gonna try this. And if you don't do this very well, then there's gonna be a sticker there for you. So definitely think about using your sticker books or washi tape to cover up any mistakes. That way, you know, it's a little bit of decorative decor, a little decorative flair on there, and you won't feel so bad about that little error. Tip number 5, if something will not fit, try a mix and match of styles. So let's say you're like, oh wow, okay, I can actually do the fake calligraphy. I really like it, it looks really nice, and I'm gonna go for it. But you need 2 words like happy April or something like that, but you really can't fit both. Well, try instead of like a big loopy cursive calligraphy for both words, maybe you just do that for April, and then for happy, you just write it in a really nice handwriting font that's not, you know, gonna take up as much space. So try to mix and match things to make sure that they'll fit, and that way you can still have the style that you want, but it will be in the dimensions so that it will work well in the space that you're working. And my last tip, I want you to consider the type of planner that you're using. So obviously at this point you have your planner, I have mine, and it is kind of a moot point. You're not gonna go out and buy a new planner. I mean, unless you're like me and you just keep buying new planners. But anyway, regardless, just thinking for the future about planners. So sometimes different planners are easier to write in. The Happy Planner is amazing because it's got those like discs and you can just pull the paper out, and sometimes just having a flat paper on a flat surface, you get the best handwriting. Everything looks really nice and neat because you're not up against weird binding or a coil or anything like that. So thinking about what type of planner you have, perhaps something like the Passion Planner that lays flat, that's really nice. And even my Plum Planner, which I absolutely love, it's got a big coil in it. So what I've been doing is that I open it so that the side that I'm working on is flat on the table, and then the rest of the planner is on the other side. And that has actually worked really well for me because then I don't feel like I'm like trying to like, you saw my planner, it's like a bigger, like thicker planner. So like if this is how thick it is, if I'm like trying to write off the edge of it, like you know what I'm talking about, like my hand's like falling off the edge of like a big thick book. So just thinking about if you're able to lay your planner flat, if you have a planner where you can remove pages, things like that, that will definitely help you achieve much neater and nicer design in your planner. So there you have it, some fake calligraphy and a few handwriting tips as well. I would love if you would leave a comment below and let me know if you have any tips as well, anything that I missed. And if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.